What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate, Uncut and After Show. I'm your host Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you'd like to join the community debate, then go to nathanoakley.com and check out the Flat Earth Debate forum. If you'd like to support this channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they premiere. There's also a PayPal, Patreon and crypto link in the info box below the video. Now, we're currently in the interim stages between two debates, so I'm going to set up for the next live show, which will actually go out on Nathan Oakley channel in about 5, maybe 10 minutes time. But as I say, as I do that, I'll leave you with the dulcet tones of whoever the hell is in the hangout.
This is just biology. This isn't evolution.
No, it's evolution.
This isn't evolution.
It's assuming that it was separate at some point. In the development stage, you can't classify it as separated.
Hey, Brenda.
You can't classify
what I'm going to say,
it.
Brenda. Okay, it's your turn to listen now.
Brenda,
it's your turn to listen.
The point is,
no, it's not. The girl, listen, she's trying to talk. Would you let her finish, please? Do it as a favor to me. Let her finish, please.
Right. So then that the male chromosome kicks in at a particular time during development, and then it pretty much shuts down, right? And then also for human females, or particularly for human females, the women have 2 X chromosomes. One of the chromosomes, yes, okay. 2 XX, and so one of the chromosomes gets crumpled up, right? And
I don't need a story on how women and females are. This is beyond the question.
Could you let her finish, please? Let her finish. Let her finish.
So just to fill you in, John. So in the last show, basically Brenda came in and asked or stated a fact that I was a globehead, which I took great offence to. I'm not a fundy zealot in any event. So I then said, well, there's things that you don't understand. You don't understand what a woman is. So then we got into discussing her misapprehensions about what men and women are, and her basing what a man and woman is based on social criteria rather than biological criteria, which was pointed out to one of the other panel members, etc., etc. The point really being that that's going to put a bee in your bonnet, which is precisely why I did it, to put a bee in a bonnet and piss her off as much as it pissed me off when she claimed I was a globehead. So I just wanted to fill you in because that was all in the after show.
Oh, God. So real highbrow stuff, right?
Yeah, my fault, really. So I can't really go in and be like, yeah, we should be talking flat. Well, yeah, this is my fault, really, isn't it? So I just thought I'd fill you and the audience in. So that there's a bit of context if you haven't watched the last debate. So if you didn't watch 783, then that'll be contextual. If I could swallow my coffee before talking, that would be contextualised. It's been a funny day, John. I was still laughing about it during the intro. Could you hear me?
Yeah. Too funny, man. Okay,
I'll unmute the panel again and take me off mute, so we can now converse with them. I'll reintroduce it to the Hangout and to us, if that makes sense.
Clearly shows that sex and gender are 2 different things.
Brenda, the science of DNA. What's the science of DNA in your opinion?
Well, yeah, I want to see that hypothesis.
I wish y'all would let her.
I want to see the hypothesis.
Let her finish, please. Can y'all let her finish without interrupting her?
I want to hear her hypothesis.
Don't worry about it. Let her just say what she has to say.
Hear her hypothesis.
Let her say what she has to say, please, and just let her talk.
I want her to answer and give
let her. No, she doesn't owe you.
Claim of science.
She doesn't owe you anything. She make your statement, Brenda, please.
Right.
Please let her talk.
Well, the larger point is that transsexuals and transgender people, right? We know that there is a region of the brain that codes for gender identity. So there's a difference between your sex, your natal sex, how you're born, and your gender identity. There's also a region of the brain that codes for sexual orientation, which is separate from gender identity. These are specific parts of the human anatomy of the brain that determine whether or not you're sexually attracted to males or females, and whether or not you identify as male or female. They're different.
That's blatantly wrong.
This is biology. This is straight up biology.
Mainly that certain types of experience actually stimulate brain development toward certain behaviors.
It doesn't.
Yeah, it does.
Transgender people,
statistically provably so.
No, transgender
You
people.
just made a false.
Arwen, could you let her finish, please?
No.
Let her finish.
Why don't you let me finish? Just stay out of it, Slick.
Brenda, you quoted a region of the brain. Brenda, you quoted a region of the brain just like Glober's quote gravity. No proof.
There is proof. It's biology.
No, biology says that DNA is coded information.
Yeah.
And when it so let me finish. So when it mutates, it loses information. It doesn't gain. Mutation is a lot.
False.
No, it isn't false.
No,
Mutation
you don't
is
understand information.
No, let me finish and you can answer back. Yellow flower has the DNA for a yellow flower. Unless acted upon from an outside force genetically to put the code for a blue flower, it will always be a yellow flower. The only time it's not a yellow flower or diminishes is when there's mutation and it has less information about being a yellow flower.
Yeah, that's false. That's not how information works.
Well, that's your psychology
Mutations.
thinking that a male is a woman.
No, that's just straight up. Has nothing to do even with biology. That's straight up information theory. The fact that you mutate doesn't reduce the amount of information. It increases.
It's a loss. It's entropy. It's a loss of
information. No, it's not.
Where does the information come from if it increases?
Information doesn't come from anywhere.
They've proven DNA, right? That the information is there in the code. It's a blueprint for life. You would have to
information isn't in the code. It isn't. The DNA is not a code, and information is not in it.
Oh my God!
We attribute information to it.
Well, every science.
Here, let me give you
every scientific. No, that you're blatantly wrong here. DNA is a code. It's a blueprint for life. No, it's not. It definitely is. You're wrong.
The very function it fulfills is the information.
Why do you think all the evolution
DNA a code?
Why? What? No, forget Google.
Yes,
why do you think? Why do you think the evolutionists now say, "Oh, well, we're going to abandon chance for our existence because somebody from another planet came here and seeded us because DNA shows a code."
No, nobody believes that panspermia is not well accepted in biological circles. It's not really. It's simply not. It's not accepted.
You mean psychological circles? Biological is very proven. Science.
No, it's not.
Well, I beg to differ.
Well, you don't know anything about biology.
Oh, I've spent a lot of time. I'm a farmer. I plant a seed of corn.
Yeah, I know a little bit about biology. You want to bring me in on a conversation?
Let me finish and you got it, Paul. As a farmer, I plant a seed of corn. I don't get an apple tree.
Right, that's not the point. So your claim,
the DNA is in this code.
10th man,
it's in the corn.
10th man. If you were to take a text document on your computer and type in a word, let's say it has 12 letters, and then you save it, it will have a certain amount of information in it, and you can check in Windows. You can right click and see how many bytes of information it has. If you then open it up and you scramble those letters and then save it, it will have the same amount of information.
Right, but we're saying take out those letters, loss of information, not scramble them.
In mutations, the letters are just scrambled.
No, there's damage to a cell where it loses part of the code. That's mutation.
No, it changes. It changes the
no,
quote unquote letters.
It changes because there's a loss of information due to damage, less of a code to go by.
Right, because it changes one of the G's to a T or something like that.
No, it's a loss of information. No, it's a loss of information. It doesn't change the code. You have to have new G and T's to create a blue flower, but it never becomes a blue flower. It's just a lesser yellow flower.
Random mutations are not a loss of information.
There aren't.
And random mutations can create new characteristics within.
Never been observed.
Yes,
it has been observed.
It has been observed.
Never been observed.
It has been.
Where is the missing link?
There's all kinds of missing links.
There are no. They
Homo
shaved down those
erectus,
bones.
Homo habilis, Homo
Yeah, go
erectus,
read.
Homo
Go,
habilis, Australopithecus
no,
afarensis.
yeah. Go read Bones of
Yes,
Contention,
they're
where
all
they go read
all
Bones of Contention, where they document the purposeful shaving down of bones to make them fit, and they even admitted and lost in court. Piltdown Man.
Shout
all
out to
these
Pierre
different things.
Desjardins.
yeah. The hoaxes don't disprove.
Shout out to Pierre
Science.
Desjardins.
Hoaxes
you're-
don't disprove anything.
Science fights you on what you're saying.
Now, the fact that people were hoaxed by the Piltdown hoax doesn't disprove
Oh,
paleontology.
but it's in our textbooks to this day. Why did they take it out? What's the
Because
worldview
it's
they're
a
trying
hoax.
to push?
And it's
No,
a
but why
good
don't they take it
example that
out?
people.
No, they're teaching from it today. It's in books still. They don't admit
don't-
that they lied. They
Yeah,
don't admit they lied. DNA destroyed evolution. Now they're
No,
saying
it doesn't.
aliens. No,
DNA
that's why they're saying, listen, if I go listen to these top evolutionists on YouTube, which I have, they say, well, with DNA, then I'd have to say an alien race came and seeded us, but they evolved from evolution.
No, that's not true at all.
Oh, well, I'll send you the video. How's that?
I can send you videos of interviews with aliens. Yeah, that doesn't mean anything.
So then we're left to science and fact, which you are absent of quoting or showing. It's your opinion. It's psychological. A yellow flower is a blue flower because it thinks so. Just like we had that discussion about the Ferrari.
That's just not how that works. It's just not how it works.
You're
Biology
right.
just doesn't
That's
work
not
the
how
way you claim it does.
everything.
Your knowledge of biology is limited.
Everything you want to prove can be proven as a farmer. The seed has information for whatever it's going to be. It doesn't have information for it's not going to be. And if it gets
Actually,
damaged,
it does.
Excuse me, it does not, or else
Yeah.
it would be.
Those are called repressed genes.
No, that's made up in your mind because you want to say you're another sex when you're not.
I'm not saying I'm another sex. I'm saying I'm a different gender.
It's one and the same. You guys have made a word different.
They're not the same. That's my point.
In your mind.
They are the same.
I don't claim to be of a different sex. I claim to have a different gender.
So there's a psychological
What the hell are you
issue.
talking about?
Sex and gender are two different things.
In your mind. So it's a psychological.
In reality.
No, it's
Brenda,
not
You're
reality.
having to change the definitions to fit what you think.
Sorry,
Brenda,
let's just get the definition
Brenda,
in. Sorry,
I-
bear with me. Bear with me. Look, you're not going to win this battle of semantics with Brenda. She's got it covered. Gender is basically excluding the biological and including the social. So gender, as a definition, is going to meet Brenda's requirements every time. Just so you know.
Yeah.
Brenda, I see.
That's how it
Brenda,
works.
Brenda, I see your point.
Sex and gender are two different things. I don't claim to be of a different sex. I claim to be of a different gender. Right?
So you're a Ferrari thinking you're a Porsche.
I don't think I'm a masochist. I don't think I am. But I could take that into account. But I would like the ability to complete sentences on this show. But if you don't allow me to complete sentences, I will simply show to people who are on the fence what a bully you are, right? And that will drive them away.
Really?
Or
hold on.
Or
well, I see it the opposite way.
That will drive them away, Nathan.
Yeah, you just interrupted my sentence, didn't you? Guilty of the very thing you're accusing me of. I waited for a gap. Yeah. So I see it differently. I see it that when someone states quite clearly that something has been measured, and then I ask them for the measurement and define what that measurement would have to actually reach in terms of specifications to be a measurement of the thing that's being claimed, for example, but not limited to, radius. And the person who's claimed it has been measured refuses to concede that they are incorrect, then I simply don't let them move on. Now, you can see that as being a victim and hold up your card and claim that you haven't been allowed to end your sentences. But if I hadn't allowed you to end your sentences, I wouldn't have heard you declare it being a measurement and then telling me how you can extrapolate it. So I do let you get to the end of your sentences. You just don't like being beaten or shown to be wrong. And you will never concede that you are wrong in the face of it being basically shouted at you.
I can measure the radius, the R value for a basketball, and I can do it by measuring its circumference. And that's what Eratosthenes was doing.
Sorry, he wasn't measuring basketballs. He presupposed Earth was a sphere, and you are equivocating. You are saying you can measure the radius of something that you can see in its entirety and know patently, obviously, to be a sphere to begin with. Then you will use that example to reify the Earth into being a sphere when you haven't seen it and aren't holding it.
Eratosthenes already knew that the Earth was a sphere.
See? So thank you for making my point. Well done. Yes, he automatically assumed that the Earth was a sphere, proving nothing, except his begging the question fallacy.
He wasn't begging the question because
he already knew. But that's not begging the question. This is what we did yesterday. Are you going to hold up your victim card when I point out that you declaring he already knew the outcome is not begging the question?
The outcome wasn't the Earth is a sphere. The outcome was the size.
Was the you stuttering bitch? Yeah, we did this yesterday, you stuttering buffoon. It is begging the question. That's precisely what begging the question is. Assuming your outcome. So if this is an example of him demonstrating the Earth to be a sphere, it's just a demonstration of him already knowing. How did that bit get to be in actual existence to begin with? How did he come to the conclusion that he could use that presupposition? Because beyond that presupposition, this is meaningless. Who cares what he did if he already knew? How did he already knew? How did he already know? Well, that's the bit we need, not this stupid, pointless, non sequitur example of somebody begging the question.
He wasn't begging the question.
He already knew. That's the very definition. Oh my God, this is like banging your head against a brick wall. Assuming your outcome is the definition of begging the question. Having your outcome already presupposed. And you're saying he already knew he was on a sphere. That's begging the question.
The outcome was the size of the Earth, which he did not presuppose.
He just told me he knew it was a sphere already.
Right.
Oh my God, this is like pulling teeth. Oh,
yeah.
If the audience can't see how frustrating this is for me, Brenda.
It's inane.
It is.
They're two different things. Those are two different things. Whether or not the Earth is a sphere is different from its size. He wasn't trying to determine that the Earth is a sphere. He was trying to determine its size.
We get that.
The size of it being spherical, Brenda. He's measuring the size of it being spherical.
Spherical
Correct.
isn't the size
of it being spherical.
He already knew it was a sphere.
So he's begging the question for the love of Jesus.
Question.
From where? Where? How did he know that?
Some serious cognitive dissonance going on here.
Yeah.
How did he know that?
So the point was he was trying to determine the size of the Earth based on the fact that he already knew it was a sphere.
Yeah, non sequitur then. We are interested in the bit where he already knew. So forget all the rest of the crap and word salad and meaningless non sequitur garbage that he did. It's meaningless. Because we're interested in the presupposition he used. The fact that you can't accept it to be a presupposition is now irrelevant. It's been demonstrated you are retarded and don't understand this fallacy. I don't care anymore. How did he know it was a sphere, Brenda?
He watched ships go over the curve.
That's a demonstration of perspective that is then completely ignored and then reified with a model using the begging the question R value. So that extrapolation will also require you to beg the question and use a mathematical formula which excludes perspective and reifies the R value, again, begging the question.
The Greeks understood that perspective is just that things get smaller in the distance.
Yeah, we're not talking about perspective. We're not talking about perspective. We are talking about the Earth being a sphere. So let's not go on this non sequitur either. Yeah, I'm saying that when you use the example of boats going over the horizon, they hijack perspective, exclude it completely from the mathematics, and then use the assumption of R to claim that that effect of perspective is what you claimed was an evidence of the Earth being a sphere. It isn't. It's an evidence of a hijacking of perspective. So let's not now talk about perspective. I don't care. We're asking you how they knew, and so far it seems that they knew perspective was real and reified R again, like you've done. So how did they know? They didn't. They hijacked perspective? Is that your answer?
They understood perspective. Yes, they understood it. They understood that things just get smaller in the distance and that obstruction is never due to perspective.
Oh, really? Do you want to show me?
Due to curvature.
No, Brenda, we've already had this from Bob the Science Guy. Take me to any curve calculation and show me where the Rayleigh criterion is applied. Go.
That has nothing to do with this.
Objects getting smaller with distance is the diffraction limit. That would be applicable in the Rayleigh criterion. That is perspective. Now, either you ignore me, and I get very aggressive with you just to make you happy, bloody masochist, or take me to the calculation that actually has the Rayleigh criterion applied. That would be what you say the Greeks understood, that objects get smaller with distance. Diffraction limits. Rayleigh criterion. Go!
What is diffraction, Nathan?
Yeah, the limit where you see interference. Show me where things disappearing in the distance, not being resolvable, interference occurs, i.e. small objects disappear with distance. Show me where that's applied. It's the third time you've obfuscated this.
It doesn't apply when things are obstructed. Resolution limit of an aperture, like the iris in your eye.
I know what it is. Show me where it's applied in a curve calculator, for the love of God.
It doesn't have to be. It's irrelevant. It's not.
We're looking at pictures. It occurs. This is something that definitely occurs in nature. So you're saying it isn't. So you're confirming what Bob the Science Guy has already told us, that you do not account for what you claim the Greeks understood. It's ignored.
Diffraction limits do occur in nature, but they're irrelevant to obstruction due to curvature.
Oh, so when you reify what is actually perspective into curvature, you can declare, like you've just done, that perspective is irrelevant. Number one, perspective is always applicable. Number two, you are literally confessing to the hijacking of perspective.
Perspective is simply things get smaller, and due to diffraction, there's a resolution limit of the aperture of any viewing device, including your eye. But that has nothing to do with the cases we're talking about, where there is clear obstruction due to curvature, due to physical imposition of
that's
a physical
cause and
matter
effect relationship
between your
right?
eye and the object being observed.
That's a cause and effect relationship, correct?
The
that's
cause
and
of
effect.
obstruction.
Let's go through the scientific method and confirm those Greeks. Are we ready to do that?
The cause of obstruction is due to the curvature of the Earth.
Yes, that's what he's saying to you, Brenda. You're describing a cause and effect relationship.
Okay,
Sure.
let's share the screen. All right, here we go. Let me know when it's up, Nathan.
Yeah, you're up.
All right, Brenda, natural phenomena observed. Is that ships going over the curvature? Is that it?
Sure, if you want.
Nathan, I don't see it on your
I
screen.
can't share Skype with the Hangout. I don't know why. You'll have to go to the watch page if you want to see it. John's just literally writing down what Brenda says. That's all that's happening here. Not exciting for you visually in the Hangout.
So, yeah, you could just follow along. Her observed natural phenomenon, or the Greeks observed natural phenomenon, was ships disappearing over the horizon. Is that good?
What natural phenomenon is we observe objects being obstructed by curvature.
No, that
objects
it's okay. No, it's all right. Stop, Brenda. She's giving you your supposition in that. Can you pull it out again?
Objects in the distance.
She's giving you a supposition.
Disappear from the bottom up due to curvature.
So ships disappearing over the horizon. You want to change that?
You said due to curvature.
Whatever.
She's got her cause.
Whatever.
She's giving you a cause.
It doesn't have to be due to. That would be the conclusion due to curvature.
Yeah. Okay. Well, so that's the independent variable, right?
Yeah. The observation is that parts of an object are obstructed from our view.
The Earth's curvature is your independent variable. You said due to Earth's curvature, that is the cause, Earth's curvature.
No.
So that is
the
independent
That's not
variable.
the independent variable.
Yeah, it is. Your independent
It's the
variable is the
independent variable,
presumed
so-
cause of the effect. You have said the cause is Earth curvature. Now, we appreciate at this stage you're declaring that that is the cause, but it's not scientifically valid, and we're seeing how well we can go and apply the scientific method to see how well we can validate your claim based on its hypothesis. That's what we're doing, Brenda.
The independent variable is the distance to the object.
Distance doesn't cause anything. The distance isn't a cause.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Distance isn't in your observed phenomena. It's not a viable independent variable. To be a viable independent variable, it is your presumed cause. Distance doesn't cause anything. So, Earth's curvature is your independent variable. Independent variable has to be varied and manipulated to confirm that that's your cause. So, how in the world can you vary and manipulate the Earth's curvature?
The distance causes the object to
Oh,
be
goodness
obstructed
gracious.
by
You
the
just
curvature.
get. Are you not listening? Is that the problem?
The distance from you, the observer, to the object is what causes it to be
Then distance
obstructed.
causes it's not Earth's curvature.
Okay, so you're saying the independent variable's not Earth curvature,
So,
it's distance. Correct, Brenda?
The curvature remains constant throughout the
That's what you're
observation.
attempting to prove. You're begging the question.
So you're automatically
No,
assuming your outcome. Brenda, we went through this
Yep.
earlier. Do you not remember the conversation? Now, I know you're going to hold your victim card up at the end of this, but to assume your outcome and then declare that it's a constant variable, yeah, that's begging the question. So you're no longer proving it, you're just assuming it. Correct, Brenda? Did you just say it's held constant? So we're not actually proving it, you're just assuming it? Begging the question.
The theory
Right.
is.
Oh,
that
we're
on
on to
a-
theory.
on a-
Sorry,
You don't have a
Brenda.
theory.
Stop. Brenda. Theory comes after the application or multiple applications of the scientific method. So we're nowhere near theory stage. Let's get that clear.
We can apply the theoretical model to our observations.
Sorry, models are pseudoscience. They aren't proving anything. That would be a reification fallacy.
No. The model, the geometric model, we're trying to decide whether
The model.
the Earth
So
adheres
we need to
adheres
see that
to
model,
a
Nathan.
flat plane or
Okay, fine. Go on then, Brenda. Bring it up. Let's see it.
Go away from me. We need to see that model. So show the model.
it's just a sphere. It's a geometric
Yeah,
sphere.
let's see it. Show us.
Let's see it.
Just imagine a sphere in your mind.
No,
It's
No, we're
hard.
not
just
imagining.
said the model, so presumably you've got one. Jesus,
Yeah.
at least show it us.
I do.
Show
have-
it then. Show it. Don't obfuscate. Just show it.
I just showed it to you. I said it's a sphere.
No, that's saying it. Do you not
Yeah.
understand the difference between showing and saying? Auditory and visual? Do you not understand the difference?
Models are concepts.
Sorry, a concept.
I'm sorry.
Yes.
So this
Model-
idea of curvature is just a concept then. It's not actually curving. The Earth's not really a sphere. It's just a concept.
Geometrical and mathematical models are conceptual.
Yeah, so they're not where we live then. They're not actually what's occurring in nature.
They're descriptions. That's what mathematics is. It's concepts.
Oh, that's interesting, Brenda, because a moment ago you gave us a cause and effect relationship.
Right. The distance.
No,
between me
not
and
right.
the
No,
is what
you don't seem to
causes it.
understand, Brenda. Not right. That's not where you agree. That's where you go, right, yeah. I'm describing a cause and effect relationship in the physical and natural world, and then equivocating it with somewhere we don't live, don't experience, and is conceptual. Do you understand? Not right, but wrong.
The distance between myself and the object being observed is on the surface of a sphere is what causes
That's begging the question. Brenda.
Wait a second. Hold on.
Brenda,
She brought up a model.
Brenda, that's called, say it a little bit slower, begging the question. How slow will I have to say it?
It's not begging the question.
Yeah, it's just a argument.
I didn't say
Yeah,
ionosphere. Right. I didn't automatically assume this example was ionosphere. The very thing I'm trying to prove, I didn't just declare was so. No, I'm not begging it. Yeah, you are, you stupid dick.
Well,
yeah, wait a second. She also said model. What type of model? So you're not equivocating. What type of model are you talking about? Are you talking about a scientific model?
Mathematics is scientific, sure.
Okay, can you switch over to my screen, Nathan?
Yeah, sure.
Tell me when it's up.
Yeah, you're on.
Yeah, a model, right? This is from Indiana University. The important point that Becker introduced is that the explanation of a natural phenomenon must be testable by experimentation. In other words, once a model is proposed as an explanation of a phenomenon, it can only be considered a scientific model if it can be objectively tested by experimentation. Do you see this? Okay, so now we're going to head back up. I'm sorry, we're going to head back down. And we're going back to the hypothesis. We're getting ready for the experimentation. So, natural phenomena observed, ships disappearing over the horizon. The alternative hypothesis is distance causes ships to disappear over the horizon. Independent variables distance, dependent variables the ships disappearing. So you're saying distance, not Earth curvature is causing it. So this is non sequitur, and distance can't be a independent variable. Just like I wrote right here, height, depth, width, length, distances, and time are not viable independent variables. And I listed the reasons why right here. I don't think I have to go over these again. So, is this your final answer? Right here.
Distance causes it then, Brenda. Not an independent variable. Not a viable hypothesis. Not Earth curve.
Right.
I think she's gone.
No further questions.
Yeah, she dropped.
Then.
No, she's here. She's just on mute.
I don't think she is. Hey, Bon.
Hello.
Okay, where are we at?
I really don't see her down there.
No, she's not on. She's
The
left.
icon's gone.
I couldn't see the icon until I had John's page up.
I see her icon.
Okay, moving on.
Yeah, well, I'm going to start a live show now.
Oh,
okay.
I just wanted to get to the conclusion before I actually did so I'll start live.
I thought we were live.
Did I do an intro for live? Maybe I did do it. Did it just not start live?
I don't think it's live.
Oh, I'm slightly confused. Someone in the chat said it's not live, and I thought, am I supposed to be? I thought this was just recording. Maybe I'm confused. It's been one of those days.
Hey, whatever.
Whatever, exactly. Let's see if I can't get it going live.
Yeah, usually I would have seen an email 3 minutes ago that it was live.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think
you're losing your touch, Nathan. What's going on?
No, we were just in the middle of a good conversation. I've switched over channels anyway, so I'm less concerned on a Thursday after the first live show goes out, because this one's going out on the second channel anyway.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate Live. I'm your host, Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you have not done so already, then be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you would like to join the community debate, then go to nathanoakley.com and check out the Flat Earth Debate Forum. If you'd like to support this channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they're live. There's also a PayPal, Patreon, and crypto link in the info box below the video. Most importantly, if you would like to join this discussion right now, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the shape of the Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcomed back on the next stream. Please also share the show on Facebook and Twitter. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel, so please share the show. And one last time, if you're new to the channel or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. Now, we are joined by Quantum Eraser, UK Truth, Slick James Johnson, Paul, Flat and Earth, Ebon Kim, Chocolate Sane, Arwin, Anon Moto, and 10th Man. Good to have you all.
Good afternoon.
Hello.
Hello.
Bonsoir.
Hello.
Morning.
Hello.
Hello. We were into a good conversation with Brenda, but when she left, it was then brought to my attention that I hadn't actually started the live show, so... Unless I'm going mad and I tried to and something went wrong. So if there's 3 intros, that's just me going nuts.
I had to step away for a minute, so I missed the conclusion of Tommy versus Brenda.
Oh yeah, where did Tommy go?
He's not here, right? Not anymore.
I don't know. In between the 2 shows, I was explaining to John what the score was, because obviously towards the end of the last after show, we had a gender discussion. I used my words carefully, which towards the end Brenda got the upper hand as she got the vernacular and better than us. She's obviously transgender, so she's gonna know. She's gonna be in the know in terms of the correct terminology better than I and better than anybody on the panel, which was pretty much clear towards the end of that. But it was a side note discussion that came about on account of the fact that Brenda decides to come on the panel and then assert that I'm not a flat earther, actually believe in a globe, and that I literally do find offensive. It is offensive to call me a fundy zealot. That's the way I hear it. It's like, no, how dare you? But there we go. Just so the audience is clear, you can pick up that on the after show. If you're watching this live on Nathan Oakley channel, then this will all come clear tomorrow on the Nathan Oakley 1980 channel, which is when this full show will go out. Anyway, should we do a bit of housekeeping as we are live? Anybody object? No? Nope. No. Any signs of curvature? Earth curvature specifically?
Not in my experience.
None that I could see.
Obstruction.
Any evidence of axial rotation of the Earth-based variety?
None that I could feel.
Can you add Adam Meakin to the call, John?
Say that one more time.
Can you add Adam Meakin to the Skype? The panel's full. It's because 10th
Skype
man's
call?
got a black screen, so I didn't realise we hadn't got a gap in the panel.
Yeah, I can add him.
No,
I'll
it's
drop
okay.
out.
Hey, Nathan, I'll drop out.
No. Don't everyone drop out. No, half the panel's gone. It's okay. Someone else has dropped. It's okay. Don't worry. You can either join on the panel or Quantum Eraser will add you to the Skype call. Adam, either way.
He's here.
Hi, Adam.
Hi, guys.
Hello. Did you have? You said you got 2 secs. Does that mean you're in a hurry? If not, I'll carry on housekeeping.
Do housekeeping. I'd like to say no a couple of times.
Okay. Any scientific evidence of gravity?
No. None.
Oh, no there?
Nope.
Aberration.
Shall I let that slide?
Now, curvature is an aberration. Arwin, come on.
That's a good question. Do you see curvature as an aberration? They've hijacked perspective and called it curvature. They've hijacked relative density and attributed this force of gravity to it. So, I don't know.
Arwin's hijacking everything and call it aberration. Yes.
No. That's not how it works. No.
I know, Arwin. I'm
And
playing.
what makes it an aberration is all the extra phenomena that even support the suggestion.
Well, I never I never felt or saw gravity when mass is supposed to attract mass, and now that they've changed it to bending of time-space, I still don't see it or feel it.
But it has to start with the assumption that there is a force present, and that's the thing that basically can be proven.
Yeah, if you remove all aspects of relative density in a vacuum chamber and then push something into disequilibrium and drop it. Anyone got a tumbleweed sound effect?
What?
Yeah,
Was
this
that a
is
question?
invigorating discussion. We already did a gravity presentation. I've done about 55 of them, but there was a gravity presentation not done 2 weeks ago, so it's all hogwash. Next.
Well, this goes out on Friday on Nathan Oakley channel, Nathan Oakley 1980, the main channel. I'm not sure how many people are watching now on Nathan Oakley, but might as well plug Ballbusters, eh?
Hey.
So Ballbusters will be on, I think it's 7 p.m. UK time, 2 p.m. Eastern. Is that right, John?
Hey, let's go with 2 p.m. Central Time this time.
Okay, 2 p.m. Central, whatever time that is in the UK. and yeah, so we're going to be talking about the, how shall I phrase this, particle wave duality. Would that be a fair description at this stage?
Yeah, what we're going to do is we're going to take the quantum mechanics presentation that I did a few months ago, and we're going to do that in 2 parts because there's so many topics in there, and we're going to give people a chance to discuss them. So the first couple topics will be an introduction, and then the main points will be the wave particle duality nonsense, and then the last part will be emphasizing the 2 ontological primitives that are ironically inside the question that we're going to ask. So it's going to be a good show. So hope everyone gets to make it.
And hopefully there'll be less technical issues. So last time, for the first time, was going to open up the panel towards the end of the show. It just didn't work. The Hangouts have slightly changed. And from sorry to go off on a secretary, we will come back onto the housekeeping, I promise. But I think Ranty pointed out to me that they've changed the way the script works in the tab at the top when you first open the Hangout, or paste it in your own computer, so that if you now share your screen and try and use that key, which is the one I was posting that didn't work, you can't get into the Hangout. Which, and I'll give all credit to Ranty, he was like, do you think that could be actually them changing it so that if you display your key by accident during a live stream, people can't just jump in and porn bomb you? I was like, well, it clearly doesn't work anymore. You've got to actually go into the little man and press the share button to get a link. Shout out to Awaken Narrative for the super chat. Obviously, the observer would be flat. I completely agree. Thank you for your support. So yeah, it might be a solution to that, but it means that, to come back to the point, people will be able to join at the end of these presentations now. We'll put them in a little holding pen. It'll be a bit more contained than these debates get. And then, you know, when appropriate, we'll open up the mic on that particular holding pen and say, right, hopefully you've argued amongst yourselves enough to come up with 1 or 2 coherent questions that are relevant to the actual subject. We shall see. But hopefully that'll go well. It'll be technically the first time on Saturday. So tune in to Ballbusters on Saturday. But yeah, so let's move on with the housekeeping unless anybody's got anything to add to that. No, we'll also open the panel to the question that was asked last week, but there was no opportunity for anyone to join and answer it, so that'll also be on the table, just so I can add that. Any evidence of a self-perpetuating molten iron core at the centre of a presupposed spherical Earth?
Well, maybe at the center of presupposed spherical Earth, but in the regular world, I don't think so.
Nope. No evidence.
Any evidence of the distance to the sun?
There is no distance to the sun.
Oh, Slick, man. You're going to invoke the Slick. You know you're going to do that, Arwin. Don't
Hello.
poke the bear.
Hello. How are you doing, Arwin?
Get him, Slick.
Now, Arwin, you made this declaration. Could you expand on that for us, please?
No.
No further questions.
No further questions.
Right, so you are going to add something to it.
Yeah,
I am. A bit of poisoning
right
the well
now.
after the fact. I love it,
Cultural
Arwin.
reference to the Matrix, there is no spoon.
Matrix,
and which
you
is
say?
also about the Matrix is a lot about mental conceptualization of what is perceived. So it is relevant.
Simulacras.
In a conceptual, psychological way.
I've got to
So
hand it
it's
to you,
We have a
Owen.
light.
I've got to hand it to you,
we
right?
have-
That is actually a very good answer.
Thank you.
We have a light in the sky. I don't know how far it is.
Okay, I think that's a good opportunity. Good answer, Owen. I'm impressed. I'm not going to lie.
I'm not impressed at all because you're still making a declaration, and I'm trying to figure out how are you able to do that.
Well, that's my experience.
Just going to descend into farce just to feel it coming.
Yep.
No further questions.
Excellent. Any evidence of the R value itself?
No.
No. What about evidence of a gas pressure being maintained without a container for all those fundamentalist believers in the vacuum of the sky?
Absolutely not.
There's a gradient. Come on.
No, but yeah, I was going to say, Owen, we
softly on the top, and that's enough to keep it all there somehow if you don't think about it.
Shame Travis isn't here because I was watching a re-up, or just a standard YouTube video rather than a live stream of Owen Benjamin, and probably a little bit late to the party. I watched the clips of the Flat Earthers put up from him, but I hadn't really watched him on his channel or any of his live streams, but I have been for the last couple of days. And I went back specifically to one where he's talking about Flat Earth. His wife's in the thumbnail, so you can find it easily. But I noticed that Travis had become a member while he was doing that live stream, so I know Travis has been privy to this conversation also. But he detailed the gas pressure argument probably better than I've heard detailed from any other globehead. And it suggested to me that he's gone in, researched both sides of the argument, and he said he'd spoken to a physicist about it. And you think, oh, well, more power to you. At least you've gone to a good source. And the explanation he was given was that as the energy of the particle itself decreases with the gradient, so you go higher and higher and higher, you get less and less and less gas, and its energy decreases. Therefore, it is less susceptible to the vacuum of the sky, and the force of gravity does the rest. That was the explanation he was given by his physicist friend. And I was like, well, at least that's put into a rhetoric that could be partially swallowed by at least some people, rather than, there's a gradient! You know what I mean? So it seems like when he's gone into it and researched it by way of physicist, he's been given an explanation that at least to a degree he can put to his audience in a way that they can say, oh, well, that kind of sounds like an explanation that makes sense. Now, we on the panel all appreciate, and I'm sure you're all itching over the mute buttons to come off mute and say, yeah, but we can't have gas pressure without a container. In other words, the first question still isn't answered in his explanation, no different to any other globehead straw man, just because it's been given to him by a physicist. The effects of entropy would still take hold. The gas pressure would still want to expand in all directions and fill the available space that it has available to it. In this case, the ever-infinite space that they call the vacuum of the sky. Well, if that was the case, we wouldn't have any gas anymore. It would all dissipate into the vacuum, in spite of this fundy claim that we've got gravity, this very weak force, counteracting the effects of entropy, which absolutely could not be possible, because it would defy the second law of thermodynamics. And there's even citations that John brought up on the last show, on Bullbusters, I should say, where it's specifically laid out that you would not be able to defy entropy with gravity, even if it was a real thing, which it's not.
Exactly.
So, Nathan, are they saying then that gravity is the container?
In essence, yeah. That's what they're basically stating. They're saying gravity pulls the energy so that it doesn't escape in all directions exactly as it would. It's just nonsense.
So then we'd have to define what a container is, a solid. Because when we do the actual scientific test, like the one that we see on the YouTube where there's a box and there's a separation in between and one side has gas, the other side is a vacuum. The only way is to lift that separation, right?
Well, not necessarily. What makes a container is a confined space in some way. And a typical way we know, but hold on, a typical way we know is a physical barrier. But conceptually, there are other possibilities.
This is a mathematical box, guys.
I'm not mathematically necessarily, but a
For
loop.
instance, a container is a physical barrier. Period.
Not
End of
necessarily.
story.
No.
No,
A looping,
really.
a looping confine
show us
would,
a
by the
container
limitation of its space, be a container.
Show us
as
a
well.
container that's not.
Didn't hear the first
that's
part.
not
Say it
physical.
again,
We wanna
Alwyn.
see it.
Describe this non-physical physical container.
Can you hear me?
Looping confined space would
Sorry,
be
I
a
just got
container
it. Sorry,
due
Alwyn,
to its
sorry.
spatial limitations.
I'm really
as
sorry
well.
to do this to you, Alwyn. I'm going to get you to do it again because I'm interrupting you. Yes, we can hear you, Adam. We can hear you.
That's right.
Quantum Eraser. It's just, we will get there. It's just confusing when there's two different hangouts running. So, sorry, Alwyn, just one more time. Can you tell us about the non-physical physical container?
Right. Okay. It is conceptual, based on the presupposition.
Oh, that's not going to be any good. Oh, no. I can't do that. I want a demonstration at the end.
I fully admit that. It is conceptual.
Oh, that's no good.
Say it in. So what it is that if the space in which we live
I can't
is
do this.
looping,
I can't
and
rumpus
with
the hell out of
specific
Brenda and not
long-
let her get to the end of a sentence and then let you do it. So, okay, lovely Just So story. Hey, Jim Morrison.
Oh, Owen,
Hold on.
let me...
Hold on, sorry. I know you tried to get in there, Adam. Hey, Jim, how you doing? Can you hear us?
Yeah, right. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we hear you. You're just a bit quiet. Sorry, go ahead, Adam.
All I was going to say, I looked into this as well. Obviously, when I went on the Globebusters show, it was something I'd looked into in terms of how they do try to define a container. And it's, as far as I can see, it's a purely mathematical container, but it's a fluctuating volume, and each individual molecule would have its own container created by the gravity in the mathematical model that they propose to hold the atmosphere on. So it's basically the more energy it's got, the further away it's going to get before the final effects of gravity stop its final entropy into the vacuum of space. That's the pretense in the mathematical model. But like I said, it would necessarily not create, it wouldn't allow the creation of a definitive even force barrier, because it would be defined on each individual molecule's individual energy. That makes sense. So one oxygen molecule may make it further than another. That would be the mathematical pretense.
My word.
Shout out to Star West Watson for the super chat. Thank you very much indeed. Afternoon to you too.
I like my looping.
I'm sorry, Adam, but
no, that was my understanding of what they purport as to how it holds there. I'm not.
Oh, they right.
Yes.
That is the most preposterous thing I've ever friggin' heard. Well, no, that's not the most preposterous thing, but it's pretty close.
Yeah. That was that was the best I could understand of it, John, in terms of trying to go through how, because it's not really well defined. It's just postulated that that's what happens, but it's certainly not given any major calculations or anything. It's literally just that end point.
Molecular compartmentalization.
Yeah, and they only tend to deal with the molecules which are just hanging about up there with very low energy. They don't talk about any of the molecules that would keep going because their last collision sent them on a course away from the Earth. They don't talk about those high energy molecules and the fact that they might keep going, and because of this lack of molecules up there, not have secondary collisions that return them to Earth. It doesn't seem to account for
what do they just stay in suspended animation or something? When you say up there, where exactly is up there?
Well, up where the gradient is, or the concentration is lowest. So they tend to be talking about only the energy of the molecules at the highest levels of the atmosphere plane.
You mean somewhere in the vicinity of the thermosphere?
Well, you see how I'm avoiding trying to put any kind of
to get any
on
any inkling of specificity is what you're trying to say.
You're not getting that. No, I mean, so like I said, and I think most of it in terms of concentrations is even mathematically derived as opposed to measured.
Yeah, that's preposterous. We don't want to deal with any mathematical conjurings here. We're just we started talking about a container and the physical nature of the container. It's like defining there. Unbelievable.
Hey, John, can I ask you a question on this with an example? When we push a beach ball into water, we feel an up force. So would that, in their argument, be the water is the container?
I have no idea. You're gonna have to ask them. I can't get into the cobwebs of Baltard's minds. Sorry.
Well, that would be an equivocation because that happens often. I can just loosely hear something similar in what you're saying, which is that they talk about water when we're talking about gas, and the two are totally different. So there's no bonds in the gas.
Right. What they try to do is because hold on a second. What they try to do is conflate the issue because liquids and gases are arbitrarily classified as fluids, when everyone and their sister knows that liquids and gases are kind of different things.
But we do the same thing when it comes
just
to
a false
relative
equivalence
density.
fallacy.
We put things in water.
Hey, can I make an observation? A liquid can be a container of gas. It's called a bubble.
Yeah, sure.
Profound.
Well,
I was just going to throw that out there just for...
Water is liquid, solid, and gas, but it takes a situation to cause that. In the ocean, it's a liquid. In the freezing situation, it's a solid.
That's right.
And mist or steam applied by heat, it becomes a gas.
Okay, but they're different states.
Still water.
They're phase transitions, correct?
Right, but it's still water.
Yeah, right. But what we're talking about is liquid water with your beach ball example, right?
Correct. So what's the force pushing up?
Well, yeah, that's fine if you're in a conversation about relative density or gravity as opposed to second law of thermodynamics violation and the vacuum of the sky. So I kind of see what you're saying, but if you do that, when we're talking about how the highly charged gas particles with no bonds would escape because they'd expand in all directions, and then you say, well, how does this, or how can I draw an equivalence with a beach ball and water? It's like, well, you can't. That's the bottom line.
Well, I guess what I'm trying to say is, from my experience and my testing, I never feel gravity pulling me down, but when I do relative density with a beach ball and water, I feel the force pushing up. So I feel the density of two different types of, like water and a beach ball with air. I feel that and can see it, but I can't see the other.
Yeah, here's the problem. Here's the problem with your statement too. You said it goes up. Up is an objective direction. Up, down, left, right, forwards and backwards are not objective directions. That's one big problem. Right?
Semantics problem, really.
That's fine.
It's not semantics problem. It's not.
No, I get you.
It's not a semantics issue.
I'm just trying to describe what explains the up force.
Well, you're saying up, and I'm saying that that's not an objective direction.
You're saying that when I'm standing on terra firma with my head being above the water and I'm pushing down.
So start again with your statement. I'm really sorry to interrupt you. How did your statement start? What you just said, just repeat it. When what occurs?
When I'm standing on terra firma.
Stop. So what have you then done with those first four words?
Explain my position.
Precisely.
Up and down.
Precisely. So relative to you, it will be going in a particular direction. So your starting point is going to be you.
Correct.
Right.
But that's what I said when I tested it and when I experienced. So I'm talking about me.
Yeah, but in terms of direction, it doesn't suddenly arbitrarily mean that all relative direction changes are fixed to that anchor point being you. But that's why.
I can see to that. I can see to that, but that wasn't the point I'm trying to make. I loved it when you had a show a while back ago when you threw it back and said, explain the up force, and they couldn't.
Uppity.
Right. You can that is once you're engaged in that, it does become semantics, but it's based on the fixing of a reference, and they do it in terms of putting the keys or the feather and the bowling ball out of disequilibrium, and then removing the relative density. But you can equally do it without doing any of that and just fix the starting point to your frame of reference, and then say, well, that's up and that's down and that's always up and always down. Well, no, only once you fix the reference.
Agreed.
That's how they've hijacked relative density. So it's important that you're wired in the way you are for us to have this conversation.
Well, I think it's relative density, obviously. I'm just trying to have them prove what they're saying, and I haven't seen it. And when we use the up force from my position, I want to hear what that force is that's fighting their invisible force.
Yeah, and that's a valid argument, but what John's trying to achieve is to take you one step back from that. So before you get to that stage, you go, well, let's define terms. What's up? What's down? Well, they're relative terms.
Correct. Well, I thought I situated myself that I was pushing down on water.
Yeah. Yeah, I get it.
That's the bit I was going to say is the thing. There is no, even if we allow just to explore your statement, I don't see there's an up force. All you've got is, before you interfere with it, the beach ball is displaced outside of the water. It's sat in the medium of the air. The only force that you feel is as a result of an attempt to re-establish the density equilibrium after you're pushing down on it, disturbing the density equilibrium. But unless you put that first downward force on it, you don't generate any force that you're describing as what you feel as an upward. It's just they're just displaced based on their relative density.
Right, like Paul's Italian dressing, when he shakes it, he displaces it, but then later, left to itself, it finds its equilibrium within the container.
Sure, there is definitely a connection that I can't yet verbalize in terms of the way that the second law of thermodynamics describes the energy running out and the equilibrium that's reached when you describe relative density. But I'm just not eloquent enough to describe the two in a combination that would be useful to the audience to hear. I mean, I'll hopefully get there eventually, or someone will say something that will make it click. But this is a very, very useful conversation because we've flipped between the two. So we're detailing high energy gas particles escaping and getting the mathematical description from Adam, and then without even trying, we're suddenly describing force disequilibrium within relative density, and we're all using the same single word when we get to a point on it, which is equilibrium. But I can't verbalize the connection yet. Do you see where I'm going? I don't, so I can't verbalize it.
Well, when I have a container of water with dirt in it and it's left untouched for 24 hours, let's say, I see clear water on top and a blackish coloring on the bottom. I put my stick in there and stir it. All of a sudden, all the water gets murky. I come back 24 hours later, the denser stuff goes to the bottom, and the less denser stuff is on top.
Yeah, and?
That's what I'm saying. It's relative
but then you got
density,
top
not
and
gravity.
bottom, right?
Again?
I'm just saying it's relative density, not gravity.
Yeah, well, gravity doesn't exist. It's like saying it's relative density, not invisible three-toed gnomes, because gravity doesn't exist, not in the sense that it's pushed in academia and in society, right? So
it's caused. I'm sorry, John. It's caused by an aberration.
Thanks. But listen, that I cringe whenever I hear the term gravity, because we're so indoctrinated, right? Gravity this, gravity that, gravity, gravity, gravity. We say it without even thinking about it, right? But it doesn't exist. Okay? So try to get that out of your vernacular. I know it's hard. Maybe counseling and electroshock therapy.
Well, for us, it doesn't exist. But when I'm talking to a globetard, I say to him that example of the clear water stirred and becomes murky, and then later it goes down. I said, what caused it to go down? Was it gravity? Why didn't it happen instantaneously? Why did it take a while? Or is it relative density? That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying gravity.
But it didn't go down, did it? So, yeah, if you focus on the stuff at the bottom, that went down. Well, you could equally argue, like I did with Brenda when she picks up keys, but this is a better example. Well, no. What caused all the stuff at the top to go up? It's equally banal.
Bird landing.
Bird landing, yeah. But what caused the force of up, right? All that stuff that went up.
You picking up the keys.
No, but in your swirly bucket full of different materials, right? Well, you've got all the dirt going to the bottom, and maybe you've got like a bit of rubbing alcohol or something in there. Well, that went up, didn't it? It got all mixed in, and it was in amongst the dirt and all swilled up, and then you came back 24 hours, and this magical force of up was applied to the rubbing alcohol.
It's because a less dense material was displaced by the more dense material that fell down. It's displacement.
Yeah, but closer to your mic, and I'll turn you down, Jim, or something, because I can't make out what you're saying.
Sorry, can you hear me now any better?
Not really. I can probably make out what you say, though.
Okay.
He's saying...
I'll try and get a better microphone a different day, right? But what I'm saying is the less dense material is just displaced by the more dense material. And the more dense material goes down, so the less dense material has to go up.
Yeah. It reaches equilibrium.
That was pretty bad. I don't know if you heard him. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah. He's essentially agreeing. He's saying it goes into equilibrium, basically, to summarise what he's saying.
If you can't hear me, I'm going to do this a different day, right? I'm going to come back a different day. I'll see you. Bye.
Thank you for trying, though, Jim. It's just one of those things.
All right, where were we at? Did we make it through the housekeeping yet?
Yeah, we were. I left the last one with being gas pressure without a container quite intentionally because I wanted it to drive a bit of conversation.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we have done with housekeeping.
I'm going to have to do one in a second, but can I ask a favour?
Of course you can.
No.
Oh. I only want to pimp. Yeah, this is going out tomorrow night, isn't it? When we had a bit of a mad evening last night, we was chatting with Chris Van Matre and talking about some of his observations that he's made with regards to a secondary object in the sky. And I know Crow's seen it. And we were just chatting for a bit, and the two had never met. We got them together last night, and they're going to come together tomorrow night and give some, hopefully, a series of presentations on what they've observed, and obviously them two just kind of sharing their initial things that they've both spotted together, which appears to be, like I said, well, one's the sun and one is something else, as far as I can see. And both of them have used all their skills to kind of rule out any form of optical effect. Chris has got a lot of stuff with cloud cover and other interesting observations, which really do appear to be showing some other thing the size of it.
Is this like a plug for your show?
Yeah.
It's like an ad. This is like a free ad.
Yep.
Well, I'll lead you back into it. Hopefully, you'll have some of Chris Van Matre's beautiful imagery put up on the show, won't you, Adam?
We've got that coming, and Crows. That's what they were kind of trying to get together for tomorrow night, just chatting last night. So hopefully, yeah, I mean, I don't know what's to come. I'd say that's kind of right, the rough outline, but
we've got a live audience now, because I know this probably go out at a similar time, but plug it away, man. Tell the audience what channel it is and what time it is and what.
That's going to be on Iron Realm Media's Have No Sphere podcast, which will be going out at 10:30 BST. So I assume that's going to be about 4:30 Eastern time, I think. So yeah, we'll be having on there Chris Van Matre and Crow 777. I think Jason's coming as well, because it's the release of their film this week as well. So come on over. It starts at 10:30. Should be a an interesting one. Like I say, lots of good imagery, hopefully, and conjectures about what the hell's being observed.
Okay, so just to plug it properly again, so it's Iron Realm Media. That's the name of the YouTube channel. It goes out at 10:30 p.m. UK time. Friday night.
Correct.
It'd be Friday the 5th.
That's it, 5th of April.
Oh, look, how long has this recording been going? So, 1 hour, 10 minutes of this recording. So, I don't know when it would be.
Yeah, but you came on late.
Say again?
I think you came on late, didn't you?
Yeah, I'm thinking about when it goes out on Nathan Oakley 1980. This will be competing, so of course, go and watch someone else's show right now.
Very much.
I tried to dumb that down and just mutter away around it, but thanks, John. No, it's all good. Yeah, definitely go and check out Iron Realm Media. If this is actually running while the re-up's going out on Nathan Oakley, I will even spam the chat, so you can even go straight to it while this is premiering. But no, this is the live bit anyway, so who cares? Yeah, check it out. Go to Iron Realm Media, subscribe if you've not done so already. It is a fantastic channel, very highbrow.
Thanks, just subbed.
Hey, do we want to go over the train wreck of Brenda's little nonsense? Just one real quick. Her natural phenomena, when she went through the scientific method with her claim.
I'd like to, yeah, just because it was, interesting.
Yeah, real quick. I think I should be still sharing, Nathan.
Yeah, you're up.
Then, John, before you go, Matt, I'm going to say head off because I've got to head off. So, cheers, guys. And
thank you very much, the Adam Meakin.
Later, Adam.
Thank you very much, the Adam Meakin of Iron Realm Media. Subscribe today.
Cheers,
you're up,
guys.
John.
Bye.
All right. If anyone missed it on the last show, I think it was on the first show, after show, but we could provide a little summary here. What she claimed was that the Greeks knew, the Eratosthenes didn't know, but the Greeks knew that the Earth was curved, and their proof was ships going over the horizon. Now, I don't know who this Greek was. Maybe she could provide a citation at some point, but anyway, her natural phenomena observed was ships disappearing over the horizon. Boy, we haven't heard that one before. Then she went on to say that her independent variable, we finally got to the point where the independent variable was distance. So we have the dependent variable, natural phenomena observed, and distance, which is our independent variable. So putting them together into an alternative hypothesis would be distance causes ships to disappear over the horizon, right? So this is nonsensical because distance isn't a viable independent variable. It doesn't cause anything. The non sequitur tautology test, distance causes ships to disappear. That's preposterous because distance doesn't cause anything. And the null was distance does not cause ships to disappear over the horizon. So this is one big booger-eating train wreck. I don't know what to say about this. It should fail 5th grade general science. So that's it.
Well, I came late to the party, but I'll jump in because of all my observations. I'm just going to say it again and again. No human being what? Can see with that kind of accuracy at that distance. Nobody can say, oh, now I can see it going over the curve. You can't, it's too far away. It's too small. It's just absolutely insane. Nobody can ever say, I've seen it with my own eyes. I'm getting food. Hold on.
Were your ears burning earlier, Travis? We were talking about you. I noticed that Red Hen Radio had become a member on Owen Benjamin's stream. And so therefore I know you were privy, unless you were paying attention to the chat more than the actual conversation on screen. But he was specifically talking about gas pressure and the gas pressure gradient and the assertion that gravity can hold the limited energy of the higher up particles of gas in the heliocentric model. So I was just intrigued to know your opinion on his way of putting it.
Can you just rephrase it in a shorter sentence real quick? I'm sorry.
What did you think of Owen Benjamin describing the second law of thermodynamics violation that is the vacuum of the sky, if you can remember it? If you can't, don't worry.
Well, yeah. I mean, basically, he talked about surface tension, you know, and what happens when the globe is supposed to be spinning. And from what I can remember, I felt like he was saying exactly what we are in terms of the vacuum of space. But that's about all I can do. Trying to recall right now.
That's probably enough. I mean, we pummeled it anyway, but it's just one of those. It was nice to see it being put across concisely in terms of an actual coherent rendition of their straw man, which is all it really is. But yeah, there we go. Interesting that argument has made its way all the way up to Owen Benjamin. I have so many people using that argument. It's great because I think it's the best heliocentric debunking there is. You can't have gas pressure without a container. You're alleged to live in an open system next to a vacuum. What a load of old nonsense. To me, it's the linchpin argument.
But Nathan, what if you have rectangular looming? Wouldn't that cause...
bit of a poke across the two panelists here. You bite, Arwin, go ahead.
Well, I'll just step in. A lot of the arguments now that I've been hearing from the booger eaters is they think that the Earth in their narrative is a closed system. They don't even they can't differentiate. They don't know where they live. So you got to first explain to them their fairy tale narrative that they actually live in an open system, right? That's what I've been getting a lot of. So take that for what you will. Thanks.
Shout out to Eagle Plane and Anchor for the super chat. Thank you very much for your support. Repeated support. Daily support. Thank you.
It's a rectangular looming system. I think that would describe it all.
He's not taking the bait, I'm afraid, Slick.
He has no choice.
Who's he?
Can't beat a bit of infighting. He's poking Arwin. Arwin's had a poke at Slick. Now Slick's having a poke at Arwin.
What did I miss?
It's not infighting.
Arwin pulls the muffin out of his mouth. What did he...
Nathan, it's not infighting because there is no in between me and him. We're not on any type of same team.
Right.
Vigilante amongst us.
No,
you and Arwigen?
Imagines himself to be some kind of hero, good guy, and I'm a snake in the grass. Right, Slick?
I'm glad to hear you finally admit it.
No further questions.
Well,
Exactly.
wasn't that fun?
I'll go ahead and lighten it up a bit. Listen, I was just cruising around last night, getting ready for bed, and I was just pissy, after a long day when I got a notification on the side, one of the recommended, and it was Jose's channel, right? But it had already concluded. And I said, okay, I'll just go over. And I'll tell you what, dude, it's like Comedy Central over there. Unbelievable. It's like a mix of like Keystone Cops and like Jim Carrey and Jeff Bridges of Dumb and Dumber. I mean, these people actually think they're intellectuals, but they're booger eaters, right? It was absolutely... I needed tear-jerking belly laugher resuscitation from it. So if you guys want a good laugh, you're feeling down, just head on over there, man, because I nearly pissed myself. The biggest one, and I'll just share this, the biggest one, somebody came on, and they were talking about that they were atheists for like 33 years or something. But as soon as they realized the earth was flat, that it converted them immediately. And that's a pretty typical story for most people, right? And then all of a sudden, Jose butts in and, he gets the rest of the baltards on the channel, or a whole bunch of them. And he says, well, it happened just the opposite to me. And I'm like, what? Wait a second. And he goes on to explain that I guess he didn't come out and say he was an atheist, but he said it happened the opposite, that God left him, or that he didn't believe in religion, which Christianity is a religion anyway, but that he left because when he became a flat earther, because his dad was a pastor. That was his rationale. And all the people on the panel, all the balltards are saying, boy, that's really unique. That's a real unique take on it, something that we haven't heard before. Yeah, because he's a booger eater. For goodness sakes, people. I don't know. I just wanted to share that. So, like I said, if you need a good laugh, just head on over there because there's plenty of it. Thanks.
As we're slagging off the competition, I went over as well recently, checked him out, offered my support, and there was George Netanyahu and Rumpus, and they're arguing amongst themselves about the Coriolis effect. So they're equivocating. They're using a tyre spinning and having a bullet fired from the tyre straight up, and basically one of them's fighting for one reference frame and one of them's fighting for two reference frames, and then they're kind of agreeing with each other, then disagreeing, and I'm like, it's like a little dance of obfuscation amongst themselves to confuse every single person listening or partaking in the actual hangout.
Right.
It's the Coriolis dance.
It's like, the Keystone Cops were silent, right? But now the Keystone Cops aren't silent anymore, and they meet Elmer Fudd and Mr. Magoo. And it is frigging hilarious. So, I don't know. I guess that's a plug.
I don't know what a Keystone Cop is. What's a Keystone Cop?
The Keystone Cops, they're silent movies back in the 20s or earlier than that do sight gags, right? They're hilarious, but they're silent movies, like Charlie Chaplin and stuff like that.
Are you talking about the other panel members, the ones that just stay silent?
Yeah. No, they don't stay silent on this show. They all jump in all at the same time and stuff. It's ridiculous. There's over talking. You can't get away from that, but it's just a little bit more pronounced over there.
What you're saying is that they are winning the show.
Hey James, how you doing? Can you hear us?
Good. What's going on, Nathan?
Very good to have you. Just turn you up a little bit.
Is that better?
Yeah, much better. Very good to have you.
Yeah, I just had a question for you guys on the God part.
Fire away.
Is there anybody in here that believes in the God of the Bible?
I don't believe
John
I
does.
know. So, yes, you have one right here.
Is that John?
You got another one over here.
What about you, Nathan?
So you got John and Paul. Who am I speaking with?
And Matthew
James.
and
Who's speaking here? James? James who?
Yes.
Are you the
Richard.
Predator, James?
Yes.
Ah, okay. What's up, James?
What about you, Nathan? You believe in the God of the Bible?
No.
Well, you don't have to give a big, long explanation, but why?
Well, there's many reasons. If you go to the live show right now, where it's premiering on YouTube, go ahead and hit show more, and then scroll down in the show more. It'll have a creator versus atheism presentation there. I give 4
his
scientific
question was for
evidence
Nathan as to
among others.
why he doesn't, not for you.
Yeah, just I'm gonna get to something real quick.
Oh, my bad. Sorry, I tuned out. There was a follow-up that I didn't pay attention to. That's my bad completely. Sorry. Do you want to say it again if I was supposed to answer something?
Is the reason you don't believe in the Bible, is it because it was written by man?
I know Christians would assert otherwise, but yes.
Now, do you believe there is a creator?
If a gun was put to my head and I had to make a choice out of the two ontological primitives, I would say there was a creator.
All right, now isn't that the same thing you're claiming those of the Bible did?
Say that again?
Wouldn't that be doing the same thing you're claiming those of the Bible did? And they just wrote it?
What?
Like if we started reading about your creator.
That's not what he said. Listen to what he said. Say it again, Nathan.
Which bit? If I had to choose between those two choices, that bit.
Yeah.
If I had to choose between those two ontological primitives, i.e., everything from nothing or everything from a creator, I would say that there was a creator. Would I say it's the God of the Bible? No.
Very concise.
Do you realize his answer, James? So you only have two choices for how we and the universe are here. Right? There's only two. Either nature created us or intelligent agency. That's your only two choices. There isn't a third option.
Wait a minute. I
That's
think there
James's
is a
point.
third option.
What was your point, James? Sorry, just let James carry on because he might have more to his point. Or maybe not.
James!
Was there anything else, James? Or was there a conclusion you wanted to draw from that information, or what?
I think he just wanted to know if he should be a listener. He wanted to see if you're part of his
I
gang.
think he just wanted to have the experience.
That's too
It's just
funny.
non-stop back and he's dropped. I think he'll hopefully come back. He might have just had an internet connection problem. Hopefully we'll... If he does come back, just let him get straight back into his point so it doesn't get completely lost.
Slick said there was a third option, by the way. We need to address that.
Yeah, it's not that it's not really coming from me. It's just that I heard someone say it, and it was just kind of interesting. That's all.
I've got Flat on Earth on the panel. Panel, can you get...
It's always been there.
Sorry, it's Flat on Earth's claim, so go ahead, Flat on Earth.
Yeah, that's good. Everything has always been here.
That's a second law of thermodynamics violation.
A creator is a laws of thermodynamics violation.
No, not a creator. You said that it always been here.
Let's get the rules set straight away. Just one at a time. Give at least 20 seconds to each other, even if there's a gap in between. Come on.
Right. He said that it's always been here. That was his claim. Well, that's a laws of thermodynamics violation.
Always a creator, because everything matter cannot be created nor destroyed.
No. See, the first law of thermodynamics speaks to nature, natural laws. It has no sway on the creator. The ontological primitives are an intelligent agent, creator versus nature. So you're categorically all screwed up.
Right. So nature, but not from a singularity. Everything has always just been here.
No, that's a first and second law of thermodynamics violation.
A creator violates thermodynamics because
here we go again. I just frigging told you, right? That the laws of thermodynamics are natural laws.
We're down to repeating, so let's just not have it repeated and talked over.
Right. What's so hard to understand about this?
Well, just repeat the point. So you're saying what I've got to so far is Earth Flattener is saying that the creator itself is a second law and first law of thermodynamics violation. And you're saying, no, the creator would sit outside of those laws because they only apply to nature and not the creator. That's where we're at.
Exactly.
Is that correct?
Exactly.
I'm not asking you, John. Sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Shut up, John.
Earth Flattener, is that correct? We didn't hear you reply.
Yeah. Do you hear me? Hello?
Okay.
Check. Yes, that's correct.
Okay. Well, I already dealt with that. Next.
Well, I mean, the creator sits outside of nature, so how would you know a creator exists if he's outside of nature?
Because of creation itself, the effect.
Which is a violation of the laws of thermodynamics.
It's not I just told. Here we go again. I'm not repeating it.
No, do.
Since you're having a hard time with the law.
No, this is what happens. Don't. Please repeat it again. Maybe elaborate. Please.
I can't. I'm not repeating it for the third time.
Oh, I've got to do it again.
I'll stand with the first 2 times that I said it.
Was that Paul?
We can
was
move
that Paul?
on. Oh my God.
Who did I just hear? James.
You just want to eat your cake and eat it too.
Go on, James. You go ahead.
Yeah, he's just saying it's kind of like a computer. A man creates a computer, but he's not subject to what's inside it. He sits outside the computer.
Yeah,
Precisely.
we are not a computer.
It's an analogy. For crying out loud.
Hold on.
Yeah, it's a bad analogy because we're nothing like a computer.
Okay, I'll tell you what. Let's remove the laws of thermodynamics, and let's just hold on a second, James. Let's remove the laws of thermodynamics for the booger eaters that don't even understand them. Let's move right into quantum mechanics, right? For matter to exist,
right, wonderful. Yeah,
hold on. Hold on. Panel cackling.
Just stop with your wizardry.
You're a wizard.
My wizardry. That's validated by experiments, son.
You're a snake.
They're not experiments. We've been through this.
They're not experiments.
Hold on. I'd like to just Anon and John. Come on, rest of the panel. We can do this.
They're not experiments. Nuh-uh arguments, huh? Nuh-uh. Great argument. So my point is, based on thousands of experiments, without exception, you don't have matter without a knower first. So let's start invalidating thousands of experiments. Let's take the first one, a delayed choice quantum eraser. So please invalidate it. Thank you.
That's your man. That's worse than Cavendish. That's Cavendish on steroids when it comes to bullshit. Sorry.
Really? Show us. That's just a declaration. So we
God,
need it. We need some cowbell. I got a fever, and the only cure is cowbell.
Anon's lost his internet connection, John. So maybe this will continue. James, just before Anon dropped, hopefully he'll come back. You were making a point. So you were asking, if I can remember correctly, about the choice of the ontological primitives versus the God of the Bible. Is that right? Did you have a supplementary point you wanted to add to that?
Yeah, I was like, for those who say that they don't believe in the Bible because man wrote it, but yet they say that there's a creator that's doing the exact same thing. You're creating your own creator. And I guess my point is like,
not necessarily.
Hold on, Paul.
Yeah, exactly what you're doing.
Sorry, carry on, James.
I mean, we started writing about this creator of yours, then it'd be the same thing. But like when it comes to what I'm getting at is when it comes to like the lie of the globe, right? If there's no one to judge, then what does it matter? Who cares? I guess like
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
When you say your creator, is that when you say your creator? Now, when I say gun to my head, I would accept that there must be a creator. I'm not anthropomorphizing that into like a guy in your analogy over a computer, although that might well be the case. I simply don't know, but I just want to know what you mean when you say a creator. What does that mean to you?
Well, I mean, that's just it. I would have to start asking questions about this creator that's been created.
Well, no, that's an infinite regress. That's an infinite regress. So the end of that road is...
like I guess what I'm getting at, Nathan, is the globe lie, right? Like, if there's no one to judge these liars, what does it matter? So if we're just...
Your point's incoherent.
If we're just humans in the best jungle...
I'm not getting your point.
Right?
What's your... can you make your claim again? Please make your claim again, because what you said so far is pretty incoherent.
Vast jungle here. Let me talk, John.
I'm sorry. It's hard because I'm on Skype. There seems like there's breaks, but then you're talking. I can't hear you. I'm not doing it purposely. I'm just trying to find out what your exact claim is. Can you state your claim again clearly? Because what you said before was kind of nonsensical to me.
Hello,
well,
Thomas.
I
Just
believe
before you do,
I believe
Thomas,
I can get you
hear
guys to
us?
at least ponder the idea of God of the Bible as truth.
Sorry to interrupt. Sorry to interrupt this discourse. Sorry. I just want to say hello to our new guest. Hi, Thomas. Can you hear us? Hello, Thomas.
I think so. Can you hear me?
Hello. Good to have you.
Hello. Right.
Hello.
I'm here. Thanks.
Pleased to have you.
Is that doubting Thomas?
I don't know. We'll find that out later. Sorry. Please, James, if you can continue. Thank you. Sorry for all the interruptions.
Yeah, I'm sorry, was you talking to me?
Yeah, you were in the middle of something when I interrupted and said hello to a new guest, and there's a bit of delay between Skype and the Hangouts page, so because of that, we lost your point entirely. So what John's asking is, can you make your claim again, but in it just a bit more concise, maybe?
Yeah, I'm just I was trying to prove the God of the Bible, but like if we're just humans in a vast jungle, right? And these liars and killers and murderers, rapists, if there's no one to judge, that they're just trying to be king of the jungle. So there would be absolutely nothing wrong with that if indeed there's no judgment.
Who is the king of the jungle?
Whoever's in control, whoever's got you enslaved.
So the gorilla, like the real jungle where the gorillas are, the king of the jungle, the lion or the gorilla or the elephant?
What are you talking about, man? Mankind has the gorilla in the damn zoo.
Wait, hold on a second, gentlemen. Can he state his first claim again? Let's leave the gorillas out of this. Please state your first claim again. Concisely, please.
Yeah, my first claim is when somebody says they don't believe in the God of the Bible because man wrote it, but yet they say that there's a creator, that's doing the same thing as what they claim
No, that's non sequitur. That's non sequitur. That doesn't make any sense. There's two questions here, right? First, is there or is there? Oh God, go ahead.
That makes perfect sense.
Just let me know when you're done, James. Okay, for crying out loud.
So let's say somebody says they don't, they believe in a creator, but not the God of the Bible because man wrote it. So if I started asking him questions about his creator and was writing them down, how is that any different?
It's whataboutism.
Yeah, but
how is it any different?
But you did. You asked me what my creator was, and I went, I've got no idea.
Yeah, I'm not going to use you because you kind of kept yourself out by saying if you had to have a gun to your head.
Right.
But I mean, it's the same exact thing.
It's the same exact thing. This is incoherent at best.
One is declaring the God of the Bible is true. One is declaring the creator is true.
Oh God. I don't know. Maybe somebody else on the panel can translate this. Does anyone understand what he's saying?
I don't know, but I'm going to use that as my opportunity to round out the live show and say if you are watching this on the Nathan Oakley channel, then Nathan Oakley 1980 channel, then stay tuned as there will be an after show to follow. However, if you're watching this on Nathan Oakley, this is where we bid you farewell. A massive thank you for tuning in, smashing the super chat, liking, sharing, commenting, all that good stuff. If you need something to keep you occupied after the debate is over, then go to nathanoakley.com and check out the Flat Earth Debate Forum. Also, a massive thank you to all of today's live panel for making this debate possible. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Just the signs, but not the day or the hour, so you can know the season.
Right. So it's inevitable, but we don't know when. So you're still making claims based on appeal to authority. Your authority is the Bible.
No, it's an increase in knowledge.
Knowledge? What knowledge? It's a reference book. You're referring to a book, so that's not knowledge.
Yeah, you can look up any book right now.
Right. Well, there's a difference between fact and fiction.
Increasing in knowledge right there, man. It's an information one right now.
Can I make a comment?
Yeah, go ahead, Paul.
Can I make a comment? Okay. I think what James is doing, he's jumping too many steps. I think John's argument, and even what Nathan is driving at, is the initial ground point. All you can say is there's some kind of creator. You haven't defined that creator. You haven't defined who this creator is, what he is, how he operates. There's so many questions still unanswered. But you can come to this initial understanding that there's something out there that created us. There's more to it than that. You jump from that to saying there's a judge. So you jumped into a moral argument. You're jumping into how do we determine what's right and what's wrong. So you're jumping from one argument to the next. And then you kind of get into the scripture, the Bible. Well, that's another argument. That's another type of argument. When you've got to establish that the Bible is historically reliable. You've got to build a case each step of the way. You can't jump from one thing to the next and miss all these other connection points. Now, you can make each case individually, and they do connect along that chain, but you can't jump from one to the next. Does that make sense?
You're borderline muffled, Paul, so just letting you know.
It's similar to chain of custody as far as evidence in a court goes. The documentation of the chain of custody of a piece of evidence is important because you don't know who handled it or where it came from unless that's all documented. So that's part of the empiricism of evidence. And when we talk about things like the Bible and claims made in the Bible, we need empirical evidence and a chain of custody for that evidence. So when you talk about stuff like it's already presumed that there's going to be an end and there's a creator and all this stuff, well, where's the empirical evidence from the source, from the beginning of the story? And it's just an
into talking about the.
Yeah, you're asking for empirical evidence. You're asking for empirical evidence for history. It's non sequitur.
Okay, perfect. I accept that. That's acceptable.
Yeah, because history is judged on a different standard.
So you
got to start
there.
Do
you accept your history?
No, it's acceptable that history is neither fact nor fiction because we can't prove it. Like, so you take something somebody said from 2,000 years ago, you don't know if they really said it. You don't know if the words are exactly what they said.
Do you know what historical documents are judged on?
Extrapolate data from,
Do you know what historical documents are judged on? Do you know the method to prove the reliability of historical documentation?
Wouldn't you just go to primary sources?
That's probably the best way to do it, but often, if it's way back then, you can't do it. Specifically with the... I'm sorry, I was talking. Go ahead.
Well, let Thomas go because you did ask an open question and I answered, and then Tom was trying to. Go ahead, Thomas.
I was just answering the question. It's the historical evidence of the documentation of the chain of custody of that evidence. So it's like every once in a while, somebody checks it out and says, is this true or false? I don't know. And if that happens periodically throughout history for facts, say thousands of years ago, they tend to be carried forward. Still don't know if it's true or not, but it's more, there's more efficacy to that type of information than there would be to just something somebody said that doesn't have any chain of custody or history behind it.
Yeah, but there's one, this is where the Bible stands out as compared to other historical documentation, and it's called prophecy. So I don't want to really need empirical. On that. I'm sorry, I was talking,
hold on,
but
Thomas.
Go ahead and finish.
Hold on, Thomas. Sorry.
Sure. No, let's go ahead with prophecy. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying that's where the Bible separates itself from other historical documents is prophecy. You can test those. The Bible's filled with over, I think it's 18,000 prophecies, if I'm not mistaken. I could be, don't quote me on that.
One quick question. How many prophecies did Nostradamus put out there?
Yeah, how many didn't come true? So prophecy in the Bible is defined as... Well, I'm sorry, I was talking again. But go ahead.
How many prophecies in the Bible have come true? Name
Go
me
ahead.
one.
You can finish my point for me.
No, I don't know what happened just now. I'm asking you a question. You offered me the opportunity.
Yeah, 3/4 of all biblical prophecy have come true. The only ones that haven't are the ones. Go ahead. Go ahead. You can finish my point for me.
Name one prophecy that's come true.
I could name one right now.
Well, I'd like to study it.
The destruction of the temple.
I like to point out self-fulfilling prophecy. Self-fulfilling.
Well, I didn't mean
If
for
you
it
can- if
to
you-
exist.
That's all right, James. Good job. Thanks.
I want to hear somebody answer my question. A prophecy documented. Give me a link or just a word to Google so I can research the document.
Okay, I will. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, the Bible being used as a playbook doesn't make it prophecy.
Prophecies in the Bible have come true. I want to hear from him. 3/4 of the prophecies in the Bible have come true. There must be a succinct
And then you
list.
said name one.
I said name one of 3/4 of what? What do you say? 18,000 prophecies, 17,000 prophecies in the Bible? Name one.
I said Jesus Christ. There's one.
Yeah, right. Sure.
Character. Show me the proof of Jesus Christ. Empirical evidence that Jesus.
You can't show empirical evidence.
Hold on.
I told you about that before.
Hold on, everybody, calm down. So Thomas has asked John a specific question. Let's see if he can actually answer it.
Go ahead. I'm sorry, I didn't hear him. Say the question again, please.
His question is: name one prophecy that's in the Bible that's come true.
Sure. The formation of Israel as a state.
Those are man's actions, and they could have been directed simply by the words.
Those
in
are
the
man's
Bible.
actions. Well, this was spoken about in Ezekiel.
Self-fulfilling.
Ezekiel.
It
Go ahead,
doesn't
finish my
sound
point.
like
Please.
you
I'm
in
sorry.
charge.
No, let's
Stop.
try and keep this. Why is this causing everybody to get angry? Or talk over each other.
It's religion.
Because the subject of the religion is very contentious.
I realise.
It's not
but
religion.
Let's try
Christianity is
and
not a religion.
avoid it by
Not
just
me.
not talking over each other and listening to each other's points. I've got no horse in this, so I'm going to be a good moderator here. I've got no horse in either race. Don't care.
Yeah, Christianity is not a religion.
Below the
so
flat
he has
Earth
to-
debate
he
and
has to
find the links.
backtrack on that.
Hold on.
I don't know. I was talking.
Hold on.
Just go ahead.
Let's get it all out. So, John, hold on to this question. The prophecy that's come true and the justification for your explanation. But everyone else on the panel, if you've got other points, let's get them all out now.
Yeah, I would just say that Jesus Christ was prophesied, and your calendar is based off him.
Okay.
This means nothing.
Paul, I noticed you flutter the mute button. Go ahead.
Well, what? Hang on. What about?
We'll come to you next, Thomas. We will come to you next. Go on, Paul.
The destruction of the temple in 70 AD was prophesied by Jesus. All the Gospels can be traced back before 70 AD, that they were documented and written. Even Paul's letter to the Corinthians was dated closer to that, or within 30 years of all that, within 30 years of Jesus' existence. Most scholars agree to that. So if the documents were written 40 years before the events occurred, then the prophecy of the destruction of the temple was fulfilled. And that can't be saying, you can't say that it was a self-fulfilling prophecy, because I don't think the Romans would have much interest in the four Gospels at that time period. So that doesn't make sense. So I've given you just one.
Okay, fine.
It's
Just
still
before
not
Thomas
prophecy,
pipes
though.
up
That's
again,
not
just before Thomas pipes up, there's still an original question that was put to John that he hasn't had a chance to answer yet. But he hasn't had a chance to answer this question yet. Everyone on the panel's had a chance to answer except John, and it was put to him by you, Thomas. Then no one else interrupt once John's finished. Thomas gets to reply.
Thank you.
Go ahead, John.
Yes, he asked for a prophecy, and I told him, well, Paul just gave him one. The other one I said was the formation of Israel as a state, prophesied by Ezekiel. That's it. If you want the background information on that, I don't know how I can send this to you. Let me think about that.
You know, Skype it to me, and I'll drop it in the chat.
Hold on, Paul. Hold on, Paul. Paul, hold on. Go ahead, Thomas.
Hang on. The definition of a prophecy is like a prediction in the future. So the way that the Bible is written and the way that it prophesies things is just saying something's going to happen, and then maybe it'll happen. And then out of all the prophecies,
wrong.
Why aren't they true? Like,
Hold on, John.
Aren't all prophecies real?
Wrong. He's just making shit up on the go. What's the definition of a biblical prophecy? And with that, would you add what is the punishment if it doesn't come true? Thanks.
What punishment, dude? I don't understand what punishment is. I don't know where you guys get this shame-based reality.
Well, no, you're missing my point. A prophecy or a okay, can you shut up for a second?
Hold on, Thomas.
No, I know you can't. Doubting Thomas. Listen, it's specifically defined in the Bible what a prophet is, right? I want to know what the punishment is if the prophet prophesizes and it doesn't come true. You know,
that would probably be some Roman stuff that they would do to you or something. Who knows? I don't know.
Not the Romans.
For lying, being a witch, whatever you're.
Not the Romans. That's not my question. Answer my question, please.
What was it? The Hebrews? Who? Your own community would punish
not the question.
You for being
that's not the question.
A witch.
The question, Thomas, is what's the punishment?
I have no idea myself.
Okay, that's fine. John, what is the punishment if you get a prophecy wrong?
Stoning to death.
Yeah. Really?
That sounds bad.
Really?
Yeah,
why should I care?
I think we're going off.
Why should anyone?
He asked me,
okay, that's a good point, Thomas. That's a good point. Sorry, stop. Thomas has got a good point.
You're trying to justify people's predictions by the fact that they would get stoned to death if they're wrong, so they wouldn't say it. That's all you're doing.
I'm not claiming the veracity of any prophecy based on that. I'm claiming that to be a prophet in Scripture, this is strictly within the bounds of Scripture. If you prophesied and it didn't come true, then it would be stoning. That doesn't have anything to do. I'm sorry for even bringing it up. Let's go back to the original question. Name one prophecy? I got one right here. Unless you want to interrupt me again. You can finish my point. Go ahead.
Or was it laid down by the law of God? Was it a cultural response or was it laid down?
It sounds like biblical law was designed to punish people who prophesied in the day because the Bible has prophecies specifically. And then if any
people just did that back then.
I'm speaking.
It's like people talking nonsense.
Excuse me, sir. I'm speaking. If any random individual in society tries to prophesize outside of the Bible, they would be punished for that. So that's probably why there was punishment for prophesying back in the day. Because there was one prophecy and you read about it in the scriptures. And if you disagree, you were stoned to death. If you tried to make an adjacent prophecy, you were stoned to death.
Like I said, let's get away from, we got off the rails. You asked me for a prophecy that has come true. I told you Ezekiel 4:1-8 starts it up. Were you going to interrupt and finish it for me? Go ahead.
John. Ezekiel 4.18, was it 4:18? Ezekiel 4:18?
All right. Go ahead. Say that again.
You said Ezekiel 4:18 was the prophecy?
No, I said Ezekiel 4 verses 1-8 starts it off. So we get, like I said, I can give this to you. I don't know what format I can give it in. I'd have to talk to Nathan. But what's your name? Is it Thomas?
That's my name, yeah.
Can we get in touch with him, Nathan? Besides,
what do you want to give him? A link to something?
No, not a link. I have a little write up here, but it'll take a while to get through. I'd probably like to give it to him, let him look over, and then he can come back and ask his questions regarding it.
Is it your standard blurb that I've seen before with the friggin'?
What do you mean my standard blurb?
I've seen that thing about defining the science is, and you like friggin' with a bunch of dots and all this isn't a friggin' science and all this.
Oh, appeal to format fallacy. What? Any other fallacies that you got?
No, you're quantum eraser, aren't you?
Yeah. What does that have to do with the format?
Nothing.
And why are you appealing to it? Appeal to style format fallacy. Do you have any other fallacies for me?
Yeah, that document's a fallacy.
Yeah, you don't even know what the hell you're talking. You don't even know what the document is. What is a fallacy?
Friggin'
What's a fallacy?
Fallacy. A fallacy is something that's false. something that's made up.
Oh God, I'm not dealing with this booger eater. You could take him, Nathan.
But it is, dude. You're making shit up.
Well, I didn't mean to get off into all this, guys. I was just my bad.
You haven't done anything wrong,
it
James.
needs to come out.
I don't.
So one thing
doesn't
about
matter how many you can tell Thomas, he's just going to deny him. So it's not
Can
going.
I say something about the prophecy? So imagine if John was in charge of the Balfour Declaration or whatever that created the state of Israel, and he knew about what was supposed to be prophesied. Would you think that he would self-fulfill that prophecy and be like, "Oh, I'm a devout Christian, so this happened, so let's sign this thing, so because we're gonna push it forward"? That's the problem with fallacies, with prophecies, is that people self-fulfill them.
Exactly.
Somebody writes something 2,000 years ago, and then it takes 2,000 years of schmucks to basically try to fulfill it because they are devout believers in such dogma or whatever you want to call it.
Absolutely. Same as flat Earth. It's a confirmation bias, and you guys are working as hard as you can.
No, that's the ball. Don't even take me there. I'll crush you worse than John.
I assumed that you were a glober.
Wrong. Wrong. I don't believe in your stupid religion. It's worse than Jesus. Your ball is worse than Jesus.
Check it out. None of this really matters because neither of us can prove anything to each other. So you don't need to insult me.
Ball is worse than Jesus.
Is it? Well,
I have to suspend more logic. I have to suspend more logic to believe in a spinning space ball than I do to believe in some guy prophesies about something 2,000 years ago. That makes that's like pushing the envelope. Your ball is just stupid.
You do what you got to do, and it's not my ball. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it is. It is. You're defending your picture. I'm talking to I'm talking to a ball. Your picture is a ball. So that's what I'm talking
That's like
to.
saying Trump is my president if I'm an independent. Sure, he's my president.
Talk to my balls.
By association. I didn't make up the ball claim. So I don't know what you're trying to say.
You have a picture of
believe
a
it.
ball.
Oh, that's right. I have a picture of the Earth's spherical Earth.
That means you believe in that. That means you subscribe to that nonsense. That's what that means.
Really? Is that your personal opinion?
Yes, really.
Hold on, that's not. Hold on, just ask him the question. Why put words in his mouth? So, are you a flat earther or a globe earther, Thomas?
I know the Earth to be a globe.
Oh,
that would be my knowledge set that I am aware of that speaks to me intellectually.
So coincidentally, Anon Moto's assessment was absolutely accurate, just by coincidence, though.
What? He's claiming that I'm a globe believer, quote unquote. Sure, that's
yeah. He prophesized it.
Thank you.
Crap that he said was probably not true. So. Like all the personal nonsense attacks.
I didn't call you. I said it's a nonsensical belief. I didn't call you anything.
You took a few digs at me, bro. Whatever.
Did I, bro? God, with this Sally stuff. Please provide, Doubting Thomas. Please provide scientific evidence for your spinning ball religion.
No.
Here we go.
No. Thanks.
No, hold on. That might be a fair enough answer. So, do you accept
it's a
that
fair
it's
answer. There's no reason to debate this here. You guys are fucking ridiculous.
Hold on. Nobody's berating you. I'm just asking. Do you accept that it is, in fact, a belief?
No, absolutely not.
Okay, so why wouldn't you want to provide evidence for it then?
It's the type of knowledge that's so empirical that you kind of solidify it in a way that's
empirical you can't prove
hold
it.
on, don't berate. Let's not gang up on him. Hold on, let's not gang up on him. So,
with an ancient character or a character like Superman, you have what's written about it. But with stuff you can look at through a telescope and different types of methods that we've used to discern things, you get further and further into this rabbit hole, and this data set of raw data grows and grows and grows, and you develop this picture that science has developed, astronomy, math. There's a lot of information. That's the world I prescribe to, whether it's real or right or not. And to me, it's so profoundly empirical
That's really cool.
It's amazing.
Sorry,
great story.
Profoundly empirical.
Profoundly, not just empirical, but profoundly empirical.
There's no necessity to add profound to empirical.
Used Superman in
Self-defining. You can't be a little bit empirical. Sorry, I know it's being pedantic, but it is important. It's either.
Can I make a statement?
Well, I was in the middle of a statement myself when you asked that question, but yeah. So
okay.
you can't be.
I never got a chance to finish.
You can't be profoundly empirical or a little bit empirical.
It's a personal position. I just wanted to impress upon you guys.
Okay.
No, you're
fine.
empirical.
Let me just get to the end of this and just want to round this out. If it's just a personal opinion based on lots of data sets.
We all have.
Oh God. Okay, I've heard what you've got, and now you will not shut up. I mean, literally, I haven't piped up for about 10 minutes. As soon as I start piping up, Thomas can't shut his fucking mouth. Shut the fuck up, Thomas. Right?
Damn.
Yeah. Shut up. I'm talking. That means don't agree to not talk, but actually shut the fuck up, like you're not doing right now.
Cut over me. Am I allowed to fucking go off and say fuck you?
Yeah, while you describe your belief. Yeah, that's what you've just done. Described a belief.
Religion.
Yeah.
His religion.
Right, now let's calmly get back to the question I asked originally. So you do accept that it's a belief?
No, it's a personal position, and it goes beyond belief because I'm not taking observations that don't exist or that don't match the reality. The observations match the documents for thousands of years. Astronomy, that's what I'm believing in, if you want to call it a belief.
Astronomy's not a science.
Things together. I'm matching what they're saying about the sky to what I see when
not
I
science.
look in the
You said empirical. You said empirical.
Yeah, we'll get to that, John. I want him to get it all out, and there is reasons why.
You guys, words are made up. They describe things.
Personal
They're pale.
position is defined as a marketing strategical plan.
Why did Arwen just speak over me? Do I have the right to tell him to shut the fuck
I
up?
just
Really?
googled what you said. Personal position. It actually
say
only
it again?
refers to marketing.
Arwen can say whatever he wants. Down in
Hey,
comments.
someone tell Arwen to shut the fuck up. Oh, and Quantum Eraser too, because I was speaking.
Hey.
How about you shut the fuck up?
Anyway, right. The point is that what you're describing is your belief in what you have been told and what has been documented and how it correlates with what you believe the Earth is. But that is a belief.
I agree.
So
you are describing your belief about me based on what you know about me.
Oh, sure, if you want to put it that way, that's fine too. But what I'm saying is...
So what do you know about me?
Oh,
It's
God,
not a belief.
I don't get a chance to get more than 2 words in. Do you just talk non-stop? It started civilly.
He does. He does
Everybody
say for
shut the fuck
booger.
up.
So you got to catch him eating boogers first, Nathan, and then speak.
Right. So what my original question was is, it's fine if you accept that it is in fact a belief. However, as John pointed out, if you're going to use words like empirical, then we're going to ask you how you've come to that conclusion. If you accept that it's simply a belief based on what you've been told and the correlations formed based on what you observe, then we can accept that also, so long as you accept it's a belief.
No, I'll just give you an example. The moon is a sphere, and you can see that obviously with a telescope. It's close enough, no matter how far anybody thinks it is away, or whatever you think it is, or don't think it is, if it's a solid object, a real object, or not one.
It looks like an M&M.
And you can tell by the way the angle of the light hits the craters as they spread out from the center towards the edges. And you can observe the fact that it's a sphere, and you can put spheres in the same lighting and light them up. You can take a model of the moon, and you can put a light in the same position as the sun might be in the sky. And wow, the moon looks exactly the same. But if you take a flat version of the moon, so there's your empirical proof. You've taken a telescope, you've looked.
Hold on.
Hold
Hold on, let him get to the end. Let him get to the end. Everyone shut up. Everyone shut up. Let him get to the end, and if necessary, remake his conclusion.
It's actually a rock in the sky that's spherical. Unless it's a projection or we're in the matrix or whatever, if we live in a physical real world and that is actually an object in the sky, it's spherical. So that's all I'm saying.
It looks like an
Okay.
M&M. It looks like an
Hold on,
M&M.
Arwen. Hold on. That's fine. So, is that the end?
That's the end.
Fine. So let's say we accept what you say, and the moon is spherical.
Okay, yeah.
So what?
Where are you leading me?
So what?
I don't know what you're.
So what?
Sure, it's not a belief. It's the same fucking thing, and you know it's not flat. You know it's not square. You know it's not
Sorry,
a goddamn triangle.
maybe you missed my point.
I mean,
Did you? It seems
Yeah,
clear
right.
you did miss my point. Who cares? How does that change the ground beneath my feet?
doesn't. None of our beliefs or thoughts or words.
Okie dokie. So
Thanks a lot.
before you keep
How's that empirical
talking, so aside from your non sequitur, what evidence do you have that it's not a belief, but fact that you live on a sphere, not the moon?
I don't have any of that information. We could be in a dream. We could be in a simulation. Who knows?
Fine. That's fine. That's fine. We're finally getting somewhere. Oh no, Arwen's going to hijack my point and get this asshole to talk all over him and me.
Hey now, watch your mouth, buddy. You got kids in the room, right?
No, I don't. Fuckwit.
Okay, so it's
I want to know how his.
Just let me make my point, John. Let me, please. Oh God, you've set him off again. Right. So, as you've just, oh no, he can't do it. He can't. He has got more. Go on, get it all out, Thomas, and then I'll make my point.
He's got
booger
eating Tourette's.
Hey, I didn't get a chance to speak. God damn it!
You've been talking the whole time.
Let me know when you're done, Thomas.
Dude, this is a game. You guys know it's a fucking game.
Oh, just want to make my point. Now you're talking about games. You've talked about brains in jars. I'd like to address it. Let's see if you can shut the fuck up long enough. Probably not.
You gonna get serious with me, Nathan? Let's get
When
serious.
you stop talking, I'll attempt to.
Well, when you swear and insult people, you're not being serious. You're losing the argument. You know that. Everybody knows that.
So, as you've just declared, we could be a brain in a jar. And all of this could be simulated. That was what you stated. Therefore, oh my fucking God. You cannot shut the fuck up, can you, Thomas? You've got Tourette's. Now I'm going to start asking different questions. Have you been assessed mentally for Tourette's? Do you have a Tourette's issue? Has a doctor assessed you? I still haven't finished, and you are displaying your symptoms of Tourette's right now. I didn't get to the end of my statement. So, Thomas, do you have Tourette's?
No.
Right. Attempt to shut your mouth and listen without talking before the end of the statement. You couldn't even do it while I tried to get a request for you to shut up. You literally couldn't do it.
Right.
Right. I'll try again.
I'll try.
Listen to him.
I'm trying.
Yeah, crack.
Yeah,
I'm trying.
it's over, Nathan. A typical baller. He's a friggin' bugger-eating crayon muncher. That's all he is.
That's what it is.
Please,
that's what you are.
Thomas, it's time for your match.
Yeah, can we cut the swearing now? My wife's just got home. Anyway, right, I'll attempt once more. So, you accept, given that you have declared that we could be brains, or this could be all simulated, that your chosen belief is that we live on a sphere.
Whatever you say, Nathan, that's perfectly fine. I absolutely accept that 100%.
So,
because it's your opinion.
No, I'm asking you.
My opinion differs. I already told you what my opinion is. You're not going to sit here and crowbar my opinion, my fucking brain. Dude.
Try not to swear.
You're on the side of my head.
Try not to swear. Joking aside.
Excuse me?
Joking aside, from this point on, literally my wife's just walked in. Hello, Eleanor. Can you hear me? Say hello. Anyway.
Hello, Eleanor.
So, yeah. So you just want to get to, this is the only point I'm desperate to round out. If you can accept that it is a belief, we're not going to give you any shit over it. Excuse my language.
It's your opinion. It's a belief. That's all I'm accepting. You know that, right?
So your belief is that my belief is you have a belief. Wow, what a great concession.
There we go. That's an appropriate rabbit hole. That's fine. I don't really mind. I don't take this shit personally. I'm a true diplomat, and this is really fun for me. I really enjoy it, and I actually like all you guys, and we could all be friends.
Oh, thank you. That's really sweet. And with that, I will say a huge, massive, enormous thank you to all of you tuning in to the premiering stream on the Nathan Oakley 1980 channel, for tuning in, smashing the super chat, hopefully, and sharing, subscribing, all that good stuff. If you'd like to keep yourself occupied after this premiering stream is over, then go to nathanoakley.com and check out the Flat Earth Debate Forum. Massive thank you to all of today's debating panel for making this after show possible. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!